And I want to welcome you guys to the call and welcome you new members to the call this morning. These happen every Monday morning, and they're at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And these will be in the Facebook page that you're watching on now, but they'll also be cleaned up a little bit and put into your members area. And they'll be categorized. This one is going to be setting goals and objectives. It's pretty necessary now near the end of the year, and give you guys some way to set up your not only your health, weight loss, and fitness goals, but also your business goals, your social goals, any goals this will work well for. I'm also going to include, I left a copy of it in the Facebook group, but I'm going to see if I can also put a copy in the members area platform as well. So it's just a one-page worksheet. Remember, the whole idea with it, the LBA, is to keep things very simple. And looking at the goals and objective, kind of like an outline, there were some of them that are 5 or 6 pages long. It seemed like they were endless, and no one's going to, not many people are going to go through that, I should say. So without further ado, let's begin. And setting goals and objectives, get them by working your plan. I can't state that enough. Anything that I've ever wanted to do, unless I write it down and formulate a plan, it's just a wish, and wishes rarely come true, as a lot of you guys know that. So I've got these mapped out, and let me just review my notes here. Yeah, three simple steps to achieve this. Number 1, goals and your mission. When establishing goals and objectives, try to involve everyone in your circle. I'm going to give you a key tip to this. Hold on one second. Specify goals and objectives begins with reviewing your mission. What do you want to accomplish? The connection between goals and your missions are easy to visualize if you use a flow chart. That's that sheet that I'm going to include. Now, this is for all you members, especially if you're new members. You hear what I'm saying, you go to the Lean Body Academy, you see how cool all the work that we've been done, that has been done in there. You see all the cool menus. Don't make the mistake of using the words like it's going to be healthy change. Don't even go there. Just begin to apply the principles, the meals, the applications of your lean body mass, and so forth. Once you start using words like health and things like that, people who aren't in your sphere of understanding will automatically take a subconscious offense to it. So just trust me, just don't do it. Okay? So make sure your goals are measurable. You can measure them. That's why the data for your Lean Body Academy is what? Your lean body mass and your lean body water intake. There's more principles than that, but those are the 2 that you want to get right away. Those will do more for you to keep you on track than just about anything, in my opinion. Okay. By establishing metric goals, you can gauge your progress and recognize immediately where you're falling off. That's why it's never about right or wrong. It's about, okay, the data is going this way. I'm going this way. I understand. Versus the old way of saying, oh, I'm so stupid. That has nothing to do with that. So let's not get caught up in that. Let's steer away from it. If you've had the habit of going back to that for whatever reason, stop that and just let the data dictate, where you're going to go. Okay. So the number 1 is goals and your mission. Again, this 1-page document that I'm reviewing will go in your members area along with this coaching call. Number 2, what problem or goals are you trying to solve? And there's an acronym for that called ACEs, and I'll go through that. So if you guys follow me at all on Periscope, you always hear me when I answer questions about how do I fix this or how do I get that. It's like, what problem am I trying to solve? Okay, I'm trying to get healthier. I'm trying to get more organized, whatever it is. Apply these ACES is the acronym for this. ACEs, it makes sense. So what do you want to attain in the future? In other words, here's my problem. Here's what I want to achieve. And it's also important to set realistic goals for this. If you realize, hey, my body fat's 35%, I'm my blood work is this, and you're not going to get cleaned up in a couple of weeks. It just doesn't work that way. But in 3 months, you can do wonders. Members have. Just apply the principles daily. So now, what do you want to achieve? Number 2, conserve. What do you want to hang on to? What do you want to keep? And what I always ask myself is, how is that serving me? Total different approach. So, oh, how come you don't binge? How come you don't do this? Well, how's that going to serve me? And that usually stops people in their tracks. And they say, that's right. Because, if you do something on Monday, whatever it is, Friday or next week or next month, you're going to have to pay the price for that. And how much of a price am I going to willing to pay? When you begin to reflect on things this way, making minute adjustments so you don't go down that road makes it a lot easier. So again, it's all up here. Eliminate. What do you want to get rid of? What in your life, and again, your body, your health is a side effect of what you allowed it to become by the choices that you made, influenced by outside or inward measures. In other words, I had a bad day at work, so I'm going to do this, whatever it is. So stepping back and understanding that, you can begin to eliminate, okay, when I get like this, I make this choice. When I go into this environment, this is how I support myself. So you'll begin to recognize those things first. So eliminate what you want to get rid of. And then the final one is steer clear. What do you want to avoid? I think couple coaching calls ago, I talked about going, now this is New Year's is coming up soon, as this is a get-together time. You may be put into circumstances that you're not comfortable with some of the people or some of the goings-on in those circumstances. Okay, so if you know that's going to happen beforehand, prepare as best you can. Don't be shocked if so-and-so is here or their conversation is against, your political candidate or, whatever it is. Just realize that's just going to take place. And if you're forewarned, then you're forearmed. Then you won't let that behavior get the best of you emotionally, and you won't take it out on yourself or other people and, self-loathe. And if you begin to catch that, you'll say, that's why I've been, that's why it's so hard to do blah, 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 because you get emotionally spurred on by things that, you didn't realize it at the time. So that's the achieve, conserve, eliminate, and steer clear. ACEs. And again, you'll get this sheet along with this call. And number 3, real simple, just 3 keys. There's like 17 these are the top. Development of goals and encourage new brain pathways. This is probably the most uncomfortable, and I'll take a few minutes and explain this. Whenever you're doing something new, applying the principles in this program, mending a relationship with a friend or spouse or whatever, the first thing we do is we begin to reflect back and then begin to think differently. We've all done something new, took it on a new profession or new something, and that learning curve is painful to some people. I know it is for me. And what you're making is new pathways in your brain. I'll give you an example. Doing homework with my daughter, really bright in math, but she struggles with writing sentences. So I had a routine where I would just have her write a sentence down 3 or 4 times in a row. The first time we did it, by the 3rd time, she was like in tears. Then I said, "Are you crying?" She was, I don't want to do this. And I was like, I felt bad. But next time she did it, got it right the first time in 1 sentence. So what she was doing from a very simple age was making those new pathways at her age of 6 years old. We can do that at any time. We're not going to have the emotional, but it's still going to be uncomfortable. So we're going to struggle through something. But you'll notice the next time you go back to it, it's a little easier. Next time you go back to it, it's a little easier. Before long, it's gotten into a habit. When you do habits like that, you can begin to, come here. You can begin to change how you're tooling your brain up here, and things begin to happen much more easily. Okay, whether your employee, your work, your family, develop these goals, and you begin to put them into play that are much easier. Go on. Sorry about that. Let me recap those. So setting goals and objectives and working your plan. Again, this is going to apply with everything that you do. Your body and your health is the end result of how the outside world has affected us. Let me repeat that. Your body and your health is usually, not always, but usually the end result of how we let the outside world affect us. We have a bad day. Did we have a bad day? No, we were in circumstances that this is how we took it in most cases. So again, if you're new to this, this is a perfect coaching call. If you've been in the academy for a while, but you're kind of slipping back or you're foundering a little bit, number one is your goals and your missions. Get people involved in what you're trying to do. Again, this is across the board. Your health, the LBA, project at work, whatever it is, and get their assistance. But how you don't get your assistance in the LBA is telling them, I'm going to start being healthier. What they're hearing is that, especially if they're living in your same house or they've been a friend of yours a long time, you've done a lot of things with them, what they're going to say is that they have been not being healthy along with you. No, that's not what you're saying, but that's what they're hearing. It's not what you're saying, that's what they're hearing. That's why for some of you that you're getting some strides in the LB, it's making a whole lot of sense. It's making your life easier, and it's applying to everything in your life. When you go to share this with someone, what they're hearing is, I'm doing it all wrong, and you're doing it right, and it's easier for you. And there becomes a boggle in their mind, and they take that as offensive. So I'm just trying to save you some pain. A lot of you may have already experienced it. It's okay, but it's not something you want to get involved with all the time. So remember, don't use the word health at home. Just say, I'm on this new program, and Dr. George is helping me, and the LBA group is helping me. Just keep it real simple. Don't get involved in hard details. If they want to know more, they can always go to the site. That will help you a lot, I promise. Not only make sure your goals are measurable, make sure your goals are realistic. Don't have unrealistic expectations of you. Set reasonable goals. Get certain habit patterns in place. 21 days to change the brain, 3 months to change the body. You've got to get out of your mind, I'm going to, drop 10 pounds in a week. You guys all know that losing weight that fast like that is totally wrong. And for a lot of you, that yo-yo effect has gotten you in the shape that you're in now. Up and down, up and down. The body doesn't like that, especially when you start crossing 30, 35, 40. It doesn't do well with that. So measurable, that's why lean body mass numbers, body fat percentage numbers, and also your weight. But your body fat percentage numbers are key. So a lot of you have chimed in, sent me direct messages, hey, I'm not losing any weight, my shape is changing. Is that normal? It's absolutely normal. That's precisely what's supposed to happen if you're conducting the support of your body properly. If you're 160 pounds and your body fat's 40%, and a month later you're 160 pounds but your body fat's 38% or 36%, that's substantial, and your shape will change dramatically. Not only your shape will change, but your body fat's dropping, and that's having a direct effect on your hormone level, how you interact in personal relationships, how your personality expresses itself. There's so many factors involved in dropping that body fat. I mean, I could have a series of coaching calls just on all the systems that it affects. So just take your time, apply the principles, and what will happen is after a week, 2 weeks, you'll find out what area you're getting the most resistance from yourself from. Oh, this is where I struggle. This is where I'm having issue. Well, what can you do to put things in place where that becomes less of a struggle? And again, when you begin to do that, that's a habit pattern forming. And that's, for me, those are the most painful to form, is new habit patterns. It's all very psychological from the point of we have to get this retooled. It's almost like tuning up a car motor or trying to apply that principle to any hobby that you like. You're learning like a new language. You're learning a new language. That takes time to happen. But if you just say you don't access the LBA for a week and 2 weeks you're like, oh, I'm not gaining weight, that's not going to help you. This did not show up in our notifications. Well, it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I always try to do it, even though I'm in Hawaii, it's 7 a.m. here. New to the group, I'm excited to getting this started. Okay, that's great, Pamela. I'm just going through the goals again. So I don't notice not many people are on this morning, but maybe that's why. I don't know why it's not giving you guys notifications. You should be able to set that in your Facebook group notifications. Okay. Excellent, Christy. Excellent. Okay. So again, goals in your mission, have reasonable expectations. Get people on board that can help you, but don't tell them you're being healthy. Okay. Okay. So number 2. It's not showing up in the feed. I'm in the Lean Body Academy feed. I'm pretty certain. But anyway, this will be in the Facebook group, as you know, and then it'll also be in your members area. So you access it 3 ways. I don't know why that's happening. Number 2, what problem or goal are you trying to solve? A lot of you know that I talk about what problem we're trying to solve. There's an acronym for that. ACEs. It's pretty reasonable, pretty easy to remember. What are you trying to achieve? What do you conserve? What are you trying to hang on to? A lot of us want to hang on to things for emotional reasons. What are we trying to eliminate? And what are we trying to steer clear of? A lot of you, as you go through the academy, you notice I have some product recommendations, but they're not mandatory, because the brain works better when we eliminate things than we add stuff. That's right. Pamela and the rest of you members, there's nothing in the academy that's there arbitrarily. When I give you these things, if you follow them, you'll steer clear of a lot of heartache. If you don't, because I know you get excited, especially when you start applying the principles and you making some efforts, seemingly effortlessly, but we know mentally there's a lot of effort going on to make new pathways. You're going to want to share it. That's human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is the listener, in their ears, you're saying what they're doing is wrong. Do you see? It's just human nature, human dynamics. That's why these coaching calls are a lot about retooling this melon up here, this brain we have, into making us say, okay, rewiring our brains, I like to say. Super, super critical. So number 3, we're talking about seeing new pathways or making new pathways. For me, it's the most painful. It's like learning a second language. What you're doing with this, learning another language, or some people I know 3 or 4 languages. I struggle with learning 2. If I try to add a 3rd one, or get my 2nd one better, it's creating new pathways. It's the most painful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so there's going to be some discomfort involved, no question. It may seem overwhelming, no question. But as you go to the Lean Body Academy, 15 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, whatever you can spare, 20 minutes a day, listen to it in your car, it's going to start resetting some elements up here that have changed, that will begin to change your thinking. Just, not go all day without eating, or having poor quality snacks around, or getting in conversations where you're trying to change someone's mind and you get frustrated because you can't. It's the Lean Body Academy is going to touch on areas of your life that you never thought a program like this would, because I've come to the conclusion we have to change how we're thinking across the board, new understanding, new principles. And by understanding those, you'll be better set to make a change within yourself. Because remember, by the time your health is poor, you're 30, 35, you added 30% body fat or more, you've gotten accustomed to those choices. And what I want you to look at is your choices that you're making, not are they right or wrong. Let's not even get into that. That's a simplistic. This is the only time I think I'm non-prosaic, when I look at the dynamics of what you're doing and say, okay, or what we're doing, and saying, is this serving my end goals? And the answer is going to be very clear. It either is or it isn't. And once you start reflecting on things like that, then change becomes perfectly acceptable, because you're looking at like, oh, that's really not serving me. Okay, what can I do to change? Oh, okay, in week 1, I got to do, I want to do this. So it's all kind of mapped out for you. But it first has to get past the mental resistance, and it's always there. That's why the most, not grief, but the most emails I get is within the first 2 weeks of members. Where's this? How come I can't find this? I need everything at once. And a lot of these questions are answered in your academy. Okay, go watch, your start video. Go watch. It's all designed for a reason. It's kind of like, I don't know, having a novel and going to the last chapter and wondering about everything that happened before. Well, you've passed by it. So those videos, I've reshot a couple of them recently to make them even more edifying, but in shorter duration. So read those. You've got to get your mind around this information. I'm telling you, it'll apply in areas of your life that you never thought for an instant it would affect. Look, whether it's my Life Without Diabetes book or my program, a lot of people have a decent idea of these concepts. But the problem is, it's not laid out in the way, number one, that they can implement relatively easily. And number two, sometimes people who know the most do the least, always slipping back into their old habits. And when that happens with folks, it's all about, when is enough enough? When have I had enough of whatever it is, high blood pressure or high body fat or constipation or whatever it is. That's something that the person has to continue to work out. All I can do is be a force for them. And all we can do in the academy here is be a force for them and just keep trotting on. No one's perfect, okay? I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. But if you can apply the principles consistently and follow setting your goals and objectives, this will flow over into your business and your social life, your family life, help you get past sticking points in your business. If you're a CEO or professional athlete or even stay-at-home mom, there's all challenges in them. I venture to say that stay-at-home mom probably has the hardest job, but we all have our own struggles in those. Applying these principles will help you. If you're not getting what you want as far as your body goes, work through these principles. You'll find that some are more difficult to apply than others. That's just normal. If I take 100 members and ask them which parts are hard to apply, you'll see probably 20% of each group have a different area. Well, I have a hard time meeting my water requirements. I have a hard time meeting my protein requirements. I have a hard time not getting affected when I go to Uncle Joe's house. I get cut, I leave there so mad. Do you see? All those things can affect everything that you do to take care of yourself and interact with your family. So these principles are pretty universal in that regard. So I hope this was helpful to you. What I will do is this will automatically go up in your Facebook group, right where it is now, so you can watch it anytime. And then I'll have a copy edited, cleaned up a little bit, and put in your coaching call area. There's got to be over a year's worth of coaching calls in there now. We'll just call it set goals and objectives, and that'll be in there, and you can review it anytime. Be part of your program. And then I'm going to also give you, I put it in the, hey, good morning. I also put it, come. I also put the document goals, a one-page simple worksheet in the Facebook group now. I also attach it to the coaching call too, so you'll have all three of this, the goals, and the coaching call. I figured now is an important time to kind of get things on track, so you're not disappointed again. And remember, forget about willpower. You get solid information, easy to apply, willpower will come. Okay? Thanks, guys. You want to say goodbye to the guys?
Bye.
See you guys later.